Hi, Minister Kaag. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
One of the first questions that we would like to ask is, what are the commitments that has been made by Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs to make sure that gay, bisexual men, sex workers, transgender, and people living with HIV stay at the center of the global HIV response?
Well, thank you very much. I think the Netherlands has been a long-standing partner over the years of all alliances, activists, communities affected by HIV/AIDS. And of course, we strive to have the right policies, but also programs in place that reach the people most in need and most vulnerable. So one of them, of course, is investments in global partnerships such as the Global Fund, UNAIDS, but of course community-led responses are equally important because they have the biggest reach. And we do that twofold. One of them is at the policy and the political level to strive for access to universal health coverage, particularly for those most marginalized, sometimes within their own countries, as it comes to issues that are derived also from living with HIV/AIDS, such as being marginalized on the labor market, access to social support. Secondly, of course, is access to medicine. Well, that's maybe the first one, but also the second layer. And we want to finance that, and we want to make sure that the largest number of people are reached consistently, but in a rights-based manner. So the rights-based lens is used in all the decisions that we make. And it's very important that we build really the alliances, such as the Love Alliance. There are many other examples that are very effective, working at community level, led by activists and people living with HIV/AIDS, and they're the best to know what's required, and they know their own communities, and ultimately will have the best results for them. It's their choice, their lives, and they need to live their lives in the way they want to live their lives.
The Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs is quite unique in terms of its approach in supporting community-led response, and we usually call it the Dutch approach as well. So how do you collaborate with and strategically align approaches with other governments in their efforts towards investing in the HIV/AIDS response?
Yeah, we do it in many different ways. Of course, at the level of governance of the different international organizations, such as UNAIDS, but other organizations too that have efficient and effective programs on sexual rights, reproductive health, including support, political and policy support, and health care for people living with HIV/AIDS. But there's also a prevention agenda, and I think you need to always combine these two. So we build alliances. We are a clear, I think, and loud voice within the alliances externally, and we will not, in that sense, yield to the pressures of conservative voices that are rearing their heads again also these days. And secondly, of course, we like to invest in innovative approaches. And I think community-led pioneering can be very helpful, especially when you need to deal also with issues of discrimination, marginalization, and status issues for those people living with HIV/AIDS. A lot of it, I think, is the sort of the art of politics, but making sure that people that need to be reached benefit ultimately. So the Dutch approach is, I think, a pragmatic one, but also a principled one.
And in addition to its partnership with and investment in civil society, what are other ways the ministry invests in and ensures that communities of sex workers, men who have sex with men, transgender people, and people who use drugs, and people living with HIV stay at the center of the global HIV response? And also, please feel free to say your last message for us.
Well, I think it's in everything we do. So in all our programs and our policies, we always take particular population groups into account. And of course, the citizens, individuals, human beings, men having sex with men, sex workers, the LGBTQI community as a whole is a policy priority for us in everything we do, in our foreign policy, but also in our development cooperation. So if you act and prioritize through that lens, you are trying to make sure that no one is left behind and that additional attention is provided for those communities. And that's also important when you look at migrant settings and refugee settings, because in all situations of vulnerability, people that carry sort of an extra layer of vulnerability, be it socially or culturally or within their community, we need to look out for them even more.
So thank you very much, Minister, for that response. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and I look forward to a wonderful conference.
Thank you.